Hello everyone. I would like to provide a brief discussion of how to use ChatGPT to sort of improve your productivity in Excel. Okay. The first thing I want to do is to use some of the examples in your first midterm and see if ChatGPT can help us answer those questions. For example, we have this question about how to separate text strings, right? So we have this column A that has last name, comma, first name. I want you to separate the last name and first name into two different columns using formulas, right? So we can, for example, ask ChatGPT how to write these formulas to achieve this task. Okay? So let's go to ChatGPT page. For those of you who haven't registered an account, you will have to, if you want to try this, you will have to register an account with ChatGPT in order to try this exercise. So we can just say that column A contains names formatted as, say, last name, comma, first name. Write Excel formulas to put last names in column B and the first names in column C. Right, let's see if this works. Okay. So you can see that ChatGPT will come up with these answers and also with some explanations of how these answers work. Okay. So let's try this. We're going to copy the code and go back to Excel. And let's put our code here. Of course, this should be A2, not A1. So you can see that we get the last name, right? So they will give us the last name for this. And let's go back and try the first name. Again, this is A2. Yeah, so it looks like this one is not working very well, right? So let's just make sure that I didn't copy this wrong. Yeah, this one is not working very well. I think part of the reason is that it seems like it's ignoring this comma here. So that's the part of using ChatGPT, because you have to be able to communicate the question very well, very precisely to ChatGPT. So if it's not very precise, then the answer you get might be a little off. So let's try to revise our question a little bit. For example, let's try if I can maybe just write this a bit more literally and see if this works. So I would put a quote around those two. Maybe that will help a little bit. Okay, I see. I think I know why, because I probably put a space here. So I just need to remove that space. I think that's probably the right answer. Okay, this is the right answer. When I type my question, I accidentally put a space after comma, so that's why the answer is not exactly right. I think now it's correct. Okay, you can see that now we're getting the right answer here. Basically, the lesson here is that I guess the answer you're getting is as good as your question, right? So if your question is a little off, then the answer you get will also be a little off. So it's all about how to communicate what you need to ChatGPT to get the precise answer here, right? And now because we have ChatGPT, we can probably also make our question a little more difficult. For example, I can change this to, let's just do a couple of them. Say that I have first name and also middle name. So first name space middle name, okay, like this. And what if I still want to extract the first name? So in this case, you can now just do what we just did, because if you just keep everything after comma, then you get the first name and also the middle name, right? So if you only want the first name, let's see if there's a way for us to do that. So column A contains names formatted as last name, first name, and middle name. Okay. This may not work, but let's give it a try. Write an Excel formula to extract the first name. Let's copy this and see if this works. Once again, we want A2. Okay, so it seems like we are getting the right answer here, right? So that works pretty well. So this formula is clearly a little bit longer than our original formula here, right? Because we have to also exclude the middle name from the answer. Right? But you can see that as long as your question is reasonably precise, it's well formulated, then ChatGPT can give you a pretty good answer here. Right? Now let's look at another example. In this example, I have a bunch of dates. This is similar to the extra credit in your project 3. So you have these dates, and also in each month, the last day is not necessarily the last calendar day in that month. This is not January 31st, but it's January 29th. So here, the last day in April is April 7th, right? So if I want to just extract the last available day, right? Not the last calendar day, but the last available day in this list, and can I write a formula to do that, right? So let's ask ChatGPT to do that. So column A contains dates. Write an Excel formula to extract the last available day in each month. So you can see this is clearly not what we need. This is giving us the last calendar day. So I think, yeah, so it's generating the first day of the next month and subtract 1, so it'll be the last calendar day. So let's try to reformulate our question a little bit. Okay, let's see if this works. One, two, 100. Yeah, still not working. Take a look here. See, contained the list. Okay, I think this is the solution that a lot of you came up with, right, for the project. So you can see that this is similar to what you did. It's extracting the last day of each month, right? The last available day in each month. So you can see that, well, in the end, you will be able to get a good answer from ChatGPT, but sometimes it really just takes a few tries, in order to get there. It depends on how you write the question. It seems like this is the question that ChatGPT actually understands, and so yeah, again, it's all about communication between you and the ChatGPT, right? Yeah, you just have to qualify certain things more precisely so that the algorithm can understand that. Okay, so those are two questions I want to mention. And another interesting question I thought about is sometimes you can also use Google Sheets, and Google Sheets has certain functionalities that the standard Excel doesn't have, right? So one of the functionality is about regular expression, right? So it allows you to extract certain information from a more complicated expression. For example, here we have these, let's say, some sort of messages, right, in column A, right? And I would like to extract all the numbers, all the numerical values out of these messages and put them in column B and C, right? So the question is, how do you do that, right? So let's ask ChatGPT. Okay, we got our answer. Let's see if this works. Okay, so this is the first numerical value. See, we got the first numerical value here. Let's drag our formula, see if that works. And we got our first numerical value in each message. Let's go back for the second numerical value. Okay, it seems like this one is not working. So it seems like there's assumption that the second numerical value is separated by a space. So that is not quite a case that we're looking for here. So let's revise our question, see if we can get around that. Okay, let's try the second answer here. Okay, let's give this another try. Let's say that in Google Sheets, use regular expression to extract the second numerical value in each cell, or just in cell A1. And numerical values might be separated by text strings. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay. So it seems like this longer expression does work. So we did get a second one. And yeah, the first one for the last message, because we only have one numerical value, so it's just repeating that. But for the first two, you can see that we can get all the numerical values out of each sentence, right, using this expression. So yeah, that's another example where you can ask ChatGPT to help you to achieve certain tasks. Right? So basically, a regular expression, for those of you who have not used it before, is just help you recognize patterns, in these longer messages, so that you can extract what you need out of a certain sentence, or even out of a paragraph, or even out of an article. Right? So it's an interesting tool for data analysis. All right. So the last examples I want to share with you is how to ask ChatGPT to write VBA code to achieve certain tasks. Right. So if you want to follow my example, I have two examples here. In example one, I built a folder, and there are two files in the folder. There's file one. If you open the file, it's just there's a number in A1, and also this says when the number was updated, right? And also if you open file 2, it's more or less the same thing. So the task here is that so this is file 2, basically the same thing, right? So I would like to write a code, VBA code, so that my code would automatically get into this folder, example 1, and open all the files in this folder. In this case, I only have 2 files, right? So my code should open all the files automatically, and also it should update this parameter in the file. Right? So you can imagine the situation. It could be like you have some pro forma models in stored in a folder, in different files, and some of these parameters, this could be, for example, interest rate, right? So and these parameters could change over time, and you would like to update for example, every month, right? You would like to update those interest rate for each model, right? So suppose you have hundreds of models, then opening up each file and changing this number manually could take a lot of time, right? So you would like to write a code so that this could run automatically. So you just click on run at the end of each month, and all the models the parameters would be updated, right? So it could be a situation like that. And let's see if ChatGPT can handle this. Let's go back to the ChatGPT page. So let's say that folder c.home. So it doesn't really matter what your folder is here. You can just later on in your code, you can always replace this with your actual folder. So I just put something in there. Contains Excel files. Write a VBA program to open each file and change the value of cell A1 to, let's say, 15%. And in cell A2, write this file is updated on today's date. Okay. Close the file after updating it. Okay, let's see if this works. You can see that it even tells you, if you haven't used VBA before, it even tells you how to run this code. But I'm going to do a very quick introduction on how to run or how to insert a VBA subroutine and run a VBA subroutine. Okay, so you go to Excel and let's start a new file here. So I'm going to close the file 1, file 2. We don't want them to be open when we run the code. So in this new Excel file, we're going to insert our VBA program. We add, so the shortcut is Alt F11, Alt key and F11 key. Press them together. Okay. So this is the book 1. This is where we're going to insert our code. So you right click on book 2. You right click on book 2 and go to insert. You insert a module. Okay. So there should be a module under book 2. Of course, your file might be called something else. It doesn't have to be book 2. And we go back to ChatGPT and we copy our code here over to our VBA editor. Okay. So we do need to update our our path here to the path that actually contains the files. So my path would be this one. So let's go back and see if this works. Oops. So I need to update this to my actual path. Okay. Okay, let's just give this a run and see what we get. Okay. By the way, to run your program, the shortcut is F5 key. Okay, you go to your subroutine, go to your module, and press F5. Okay, it says everything has been updated. Let's take a look. File 1. Okay, this is not updated yet. It's not changed. File 2. I guess this is not updated either. Yeah, it's not updated. So something was not quite right with this program yet. So let's take a look, see what's wrong here. What if we add a backslash here? Let's see if this helps. Okay, looks like this one has been updated. All right, so you can see that we do need a backslash here because this is the folder. So that should solve the problem. So it's updated to 15%, and also says it's updated today. Okay. So you can see that you can achieve a relatively sophisticated task in VBA by just asking ChatGPT to write the VBA code for you. Let's just be sure. Let's also open file 2 before we claim this is a success. Yeah, so this is also file 2 is also updated. Right? So we're going to close down these files, and we're going to look at another example. So in example 2, what I would like to do is I have these two files, one called student1, the other called student2. Okay. So student1 has some answer in there, and student2 also has an answer in there, right? So let's say that the correct answer is 1, 2, 3. So what I want to do is I want to compare their answer to the correct answer, which is 1, 2, 3. And if the answer is correct, then I would like to add a point for the student and change the color to green. If the student's answer is incorrect, then I won't add the point, and also I will change the color to red. Right? And also after grading them, I would like to put their score in this score sheet. Right? So you should have student 1 and his score, and student 2 and his score. Right? So let's see if we can realize this task by asking ChatGPT to write a VBA program. So let's say that folder contains Excel files. Compare the value in cell A1 to 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Write a VBA program to achieve the following tasks. Compare the value in cell A1 to 1 to 3. If they are equal, then change the interior color of the cell A1 to green and add 1 point to the score. If they are not equal, then change the interior color of cell A1 to red and do not add 1 point. Write the file name to column A in file score.xlsx in folder home, see home other. Okay. And write the score to column B in score.xlsx. Do this for every file under home. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, now we have our VBA code for this. Let's check. Again, we're going back to our book 2. I mean, you can put multiple subroutines. You can start a new file or a new module, that's fine, but you can also put multiple subroutines under the same module. So for simplicity here, I'm just going to do this. Okay. So similarly, I have to change my folder to my actual folder. Okay. And let's close all our files and see if that works. So ideally, we shouldn't have to open all these files before we run our program, right? So let's just close down all these files and run our VBA program here. So select into your module and then press F5 key to run the whole thing. So I couldn't find file score. Let's see. Oh, sorry. This should be example 2. That's my fault. It should be example 2. Let's run this again. All files in the folder have been processed. Let's see if they have been. Okay, so this one is correct, so it's green. This one's incorrect, so it's red. Now let's check our scores. Okay, so something's not quite right here. It seems like the score we get here, these are not student scores. It seems like these are cumulative scores. So it's not, so this one, this student is correct, so he gets 1, but this student is incorrect, but this is carried forward to the student. So that's not quite right. So we have to, so the grading part is correct, but the way ChatGPT counts score is not quite correct. Right, so let's see if we can figure out a way to fix this. Okay, so if you know a little bit about VBA programming or any programming language in general, you can sort of see the problem. Basically, it initialized the score at 0, and then it just keep running this loop, right? So what we really want is within this loop. Okay, so every time we start a new, we open a new student file, we would like to reset the score to 0. So this would be an easy fix, I think. So let's see if this works. So let's go back to score. Let's see what we get here. So you can see that in the second iteration, we get the answer we want, right? So you can obviously you can also add a request in ChatGPT to clear this score file before you actually do this, because in this request, I didn't ask ChatGPT to clear the previous record, right? So you probably want to clear the previous record before you add a new record. But as you can see in the second record, we do get the result we want. The first student get the answer correct. The second student didn't get the correct answer, so he gets 0. The first one get 1. Okay? But anyway, so you can see that this is a relatively complicated task to perform by just looking at the code. But if you can, communicate what you need correctly or precisely to ChatGPT, then you can get an answer pretty easily, right? And also it helps to understand a little, at least have some knowledge about VBA programming, right? So it will allow you to make some finer adjustments after you get an answer from ChatGPT, right? Of course, if you don't know anything, then you have to go back to ChatGPT to revise your question. Hopefully you get the exact answer you want, and that's also possible, right? But if you have some knowledge about VBA programming, then it really helps a lot.